Hi again, everyone. I'm the Cantankerous Collector. This is episode number 108. Death by Buffalo is my eBay store. Death by Buffalo. Check it out. I sell a lot of pop culture and comic book related stuff. So last weekend, I went to FanX, which is a pop culture convention in Salt Lake City. They hold it annually now, every September. And I've missed a few of them. I used to go every year, but I stopped going a few years ago. But this year, they had some great guests that I thought were worth checking out. Every year on their website, they ask, what celebrities would you like to see appear here at the FanX? And I would always put three women. I would put Sigourney Weaver because I have a bunch of cool alien stuff, a really great photo of her hanging on my wall that I'd like to get signed. I also add Jessica Lange because I've got a lot of really cool King Kong 76 stuff that I'd like to get her to sign. And Linda Hamilton from the Terminator because I have one specific digital image of her taken off the internet that I've been wanting to get signed for many years now, and luckily she came and showed up. So I got to meet her. This convention had a lot of. This was probably the biggest convention in terms of names for Salt Lake. There was a lot of people. So the biggest name at the convention was Mel Gibson, and I think that this was his first convention he's ever done. I didn't see him because he's behind a screen, where you see everybody else there at their table. He's got a table that's behind this big curtain, so I didn't see him. His prices were outrageous too. I mean, it was, if you wanted an 8x10 signed by him at the show and meet him, it was $350. If you were going to submit a photograph that he had signed sometime during the show, it was $250, but you wouldn't get to meet him. If it was something other than an 8x10, they call that merchandise. And so you had to tack on $200 to that $350 to get anything but an 8x10 signed. And if you wanted him to personalize it or write one of his movie quotes, it was like another $200. And I was standing in line for Linda Hamilton. I met some guy, and he showed me he got, I don't know if it was an album cover like the soundtrack to Lethal Weapon or if it was a laser disc, but it was shaped like an album cover, obviously bigger than an 8x10. And Mel signed it, and then he wrote one of his quotes on it. And so that would have cost, what, $350, $550, $750 for that. And it's like, that's a lot of money, man. And I had something from Braveheart that I'll show one of these days. I was thinking about bringing to the show. I wasn't going to get it signed because I only like flat items signed, but the prices were so outrageous, and I didn't do it. It didn't make any sense to do it. Some of the big names, like Dick Van Dyke was going to be there, but he canceled, and Marissa Tomei canceled also. I had a dream the other night that I met Dick Van Dyke, but I thought it was Pat Boone. And I was so nervous about meeting Pat Boone that I said to Dick Van Dyke, "Hi, Debbie." But yeah, he canceled and Marissa canceled. But they had Elijah Wood, Sean Astin. Those guys had really big lines. A lot of these people I don't know. I walked around and looked at a lot of these. Some of them weren't there at the time I was there. They show up at different times. Sometimes they leave to go sign or to take photos with people or lunch or whatever. And so it's hard to catch all of them at one time. Susan Sarandon, who's the Gina Davis, who I loved in The Fly. But I saw her, but it's getting crazy. The cost for autographs now is unbelievable. Robert Patrick, who I didn't see, he's from Terminator. Randy Quaid, was he in Jaws 4, or was that Dennis Quaid? I don't remember. The two girls from Little House on the Prairie, Melissa Gilbert and Allison Arngrim. I think that's how you pronounce it. She played what, Nellie? Lou Diamond Phillips, Jonathan Frakes, Paul Williams, who I should have checked to see if he had any photos of him as Virgil in Battle for the Planet of the Apes. I did see him, and he was signing for somebody. But I was strapped for cash. I mean, I didn't have anything by that time. But he's also a great songwriter. Just an old-fashioned love song. LeVar Burton, Priscilla Presley. Yeah, that's a lot of Kelsey Grammer, Fraser. He was there. But anyways, I went to get autographs from three people because two of them I had never met, and another one I just had more stuff that for her to sign. So I was able to meet Linda Hamilton, who I've wanted to get this print signed for the longest time. So I found this image online. Some auction house was selling the actual prop of the Polaroid photo that appears at the end of the movie, where she's in her Jeep Wrangler and she stops to get gas, and the little Mexican boy comes up to her, takes her picture, and wants $4, and she ends up giving him $3. Anyways, this auction house was selling apparently the actual prop, and it was a high enough resolution photo that I was able to do a decent print on. And I tried to color match it so it matched the picture that she's looking at in the movie. And I think I got pretty close. And I made a high quality digital print of it and got her to sign this, and real happy about this.
Yeah, boy.
So I was going to get her to sign two of these, one personalized to me and one just her name. But by the time I got up there, I thought, you know what, I kind of want a selfie with her. And so instead of getting two signed, I had just this one signed, and I got a selfie pic with her.
Yeah, boy.
But it was fun. She was real sweet, really nice. She scratched my back a little and grabbed some of my back fat and pinched it. And what was nice about this was her prices were a flat fee. So it didn't matter if you were having her sign something bigger than an 8x10. I only got this 8x10 sign, but there were people getting posters signed. Some guy had his Terminator cyborg bust, the metallic, signed. But there are other celebrities who I will show you that they were charging a lot more. 16 years ago, 2008, I met Lindsay Wagner at a Chiller Theater show in New Jersey. And she told me that was the first show she ever did. But I got my picture taken with her then. And that was free too. I mean, I think her prices were $30 for autographs. And I got a bunch of stuff signed. I got a comic book signed and photos and stuff, magazines. And she was real sweet. And so I actually took a copy of that photograph, and she signed that for me. This was the first time I ever had a celebrity use a paint pen to autograph a photo. The ink is really thick, and I don't know if it's going to last, or like if you bend it, if it's going to crack. But I like that bright blue, though. It comes out pretty well. I also had this really nice print of her. She was gorgeous. I crushed on her big time when I was a kid. I mean, her face is so pretty. And she signed this for me, this photo. which I'll get framed and hanging up one of these days.
Yeah, boy.
But she was gorgeous. I mean, and she had that scar. She doesn't have it anymore. But she had that scar near her lip that was real sexy. She got rid of it though. She should have kept that. That was real sexy. I remember though finding out that she smoked, and that was a total turnoff back when I was a kid. Because there's an episode of The Bionic Woman where she plays like a double or something, and she starts smoking. She acts a little differently than Jamie Summers, but she was like her twin or whatever. And I remember that just totally turning me off her, but I've recuperated and we're back. We're talking again. And then this is Real Boss. This is a magazine called Lookin' from the UK. And they do a lot of painted covers. I don't think this magazine exists anymore. But I love paintings and stuff. I love artwork. I don't always need an official photograph or anything to get signed. I love these. And the Lookin' magazine, they had a lot of Bionic Woman covers and $6 Million Man covers. I was on eBay going through them, and this was my favorite one. This looked more like her than some of the others. I should have had her sign it bigger. I like big signatures, and a lot of times they sign really small. And she looked at this, and I think she was kind of surprised, almost like she had never seen it before. But I love this cover, and this is a great book. I pressed this a few days before the convention. There's some real tiny wrinkles in this. I didn't do the greatest job of pressing this, and I only did it for one night. I could do a much better job, but I don't know if I can. I don't think I can use steam with the signature now. So, but I can use heat, and I'll probably press this again. Do you feel like I do? Dun dun. And the girl that was handling her, she says, "Can I look at it?" And I said, "Yeah, just be careful. Don't crease it." And she opened it up to this and showed Lindsay. She goes, "Oh, that's so pretty. Do you feel like I do?" Okay, and then I got this, which this is really cool to me because I used to order this. I went to a small parochial school, and we used to be able to order books every few months or something, and magazines that were for kids. And bless my mom, who always let me order books that I wanted, books about Bigfoot or all sports or whatever. And this was Dynamite magazine. And this was a pop culture magazine for kids. Part of the Scholastic school program, where we're able to order stuff. I had this as a kid. My copy was trashed a long time ago, but I picked this up on eBay and I pressed this one too, and this looks really good. But I love that picture of her. I mean, she is just drop dead gorgeous. I mean, she was so fine. She signed it in the blue. Again, I wish I would have had her sign it a little bigger, but God, she is just so fine. Unbelievable. Oh, Jamie. Okay, and then her her costs were she had a standard price, but magazine covers and that big poster were $20 more. And so it totally blew my budget at the show. So I was going to have her sign this, which I have the transparency for, the original transparency for it. And I've had this on eBay for years and no one's ever bought it. And I thought, God, just get her to sign this. This was when she appeared in some, I think, made for TV movie. And but I ran out of money. It was like she wanted $20 for those others, and or $20 extra for those others. And I was like, I can't do that. So, and I also met Lee Majors, the $6 Million Man, who I used to refer to as the Six when I was a kid. They'd be like, "What are you gonna do? Where are you going?" "I'm going home to watch the Six." And he's 85 years old now. Still looks good. Kind of shy. Seemed very shy. There's no line. I walked right up to him. The guy that was handling him was a real prick. But Lee Majors was shy. Just didn't. There was no connection at all. But he signed really big, which is really cool. And this is another Dynamite magazine, another book that I had as a kid, but had to go to eBay to pick up one to get him to sign. And this is from 1975, the year of Jaws. This was the February 1975 issue. I bought a couple of these to decide which one I wanted to get signed. Both had some wear on it, but I pressed them both, and I'll frame this magazine so the spine wear won't completely show. I thought this was pretty cool. He added Colonel Steve Austin. This one didn't come with the King Kong poster. There's a 3D King Kong poster that was included in this magazine back in the day. And I remember having that. It came with 3D glasses too. And he's on the Empire State Building. And this was pre King Kong 76. So it was kind of based on the original King Kong. I remember having that poster hanging up in my bedroom, and you'd look at it with those 3D glasses, and it was cool. But I don't have that anymore, and this magazine didn't come with that. So just to round out my budget, I picked up one of these on eBay. It was sealed, and really nice condition. And I opened the seal and had him sign this. This is a Peter Pan book and record set from 1977, 2 years AJ. They made a bunch of these sets back then with the 33 LP record album and an illustrated comic book. I think this cover may be by Neil Adams. In my previous episode, the Batman statue episode, I talk about Neil Adams. He was working in commercial art at the time, and he had his own studio, and he did a lot of the artwork for these record sets for Peter Pan. And this one's came with the record, which I've placed elsewhere, but it's got a comic book story. Great likenesses. Oscar Goldman, Rudy Wells, the Six.
Yeah, boy.
I like getting stuff like this signed because, like, I was looking on eBay. I mean, all these guys' signatures, they're not rare. They're not rare at all. These guys, Linda Hamilton, Lee Majors, Lindsay Wagner, they've signed a ton of stuff over the years. It's kind of cool to have things like this signed that they don't sign a lot of these. I mean, I'm sure he has signed this album before for people, but you don't see a lot of those on eBay. A lot of the autographs you see are on the standard photos and stuff. So some of these, you just don't see his autograph on Dynamite magazine. And of course that Lindsay Wagner, like I said, I don't think she even had seen that before. And so who knows how many she has signed of these, but it's always cool to get stuff like that signed that makes it a little more rare, but that's all I got. Thanks for watching, and check out my other videos, and I will see you soon.